YouTubers, welcome to Unplugged Space. I'm really excited to tell you about our own YouTube channel. Unplugged Space is a community project where we're raising awareness of the techniques of mindfulness and meditation, so being able to bring more awareness into your life. How we're going to do this is actually we're running free meditation hubs. The first one has already started running at the Tiger Row Centre on Clarendon Street in Nottingham, and then we're also organising an amazing event on the 13th of May in the Market Square, and that's going to be where we're getting you all together to really enjoy a mass meditation and also listen to some experts talking about the benefits of mindfulness practices. Today I'm very excited to speak to a lady called Gabriella, who has brought these techniques into her life in a very unique way. She's actually a lady who has suffered from some depression in the past, and through the process of integrating mindfulness techniques into her life regularly and also attending a course in Nottingham, she's actually feeling vibrant, looking very healthy and really enjoying good sleep these days. So Gabriella, tell me, what was life like before you brought mindfulness practices into your life?
Well, I was actually quite low mood, quite anxious and depressed really, depressed in the sense of I was aware that I was full of negative thinking, quite fearful. And some difficult things had happened. I'd had a period of a bit of stress about one thing and another, and I'd seemed to got caught in a loop and I couldn't seem to get myself out of it, so none of the things I normally did actually worked. And it went on a bit, it was about 5 or 6 months, and I knew there was no point trying to get medication because medication has never worked for me, that kind of medication. I have tried it in the past. Because in my life I have had periods of depression and anxiety. So I then saw there was mindfulness happening at the Soul Bar on a Thursday. So I went along to that, and it was really hard to even go to that because I was so down at the time. And I didn't like the idea of being in a big group of people or anything like that. But I went and I did notice a slight improvement. It didn't last, but I did notice it. So I went the next week, and I was going for 2 or 3 weeks. And then the person running it told me they were going to do an 8-week course on mindfulness, and I thought that's it, that's what I've got to do. So I signed up for the course about mid-October. This is the course, so you get a workbook with it. It's called The Mindful Way, and you go, it's like once a week, and then you do a practice every day in between time, and it introduces you to a whole range of practices within mindfulness. So you can then kind of, by the end of it, you can choose the kind of practice you want to focus on. So it means during that 8 weeks you are meditating every day, so between about 30 to 40 minutes, and then the idea is obviously you carry on.
Can I ask, what do you find has been the most fundamental aspect of your practice?
I think it is about being present, really. It's about taking a break from the mind as well. So the practice causes your mind to become still. You might be focusing on breath or focusing on movements or focusing on parts of the body, but the main thing is your mind is not busy. So the mind is obviously going to try to get busy, so you just divert your attention to your breath or to the body. So there is a very stilling and calming effect, and at the end of it, of course, you feel very peaceful.
That's beautiful.
So it's great to do that every day because it has a lasting effect throughout the day.
What would you like other people to know about your practice? So, I know you've told us about your story and your journey into mindfulness and meditation practices, but what were really 3 things that you feel others should know?
Well, it's something you can do for yourself, so you're in control, and you're not dependent on medication, so it's within your own control. So you're in charge of your life again, so that's a major benefit, I think. And I think the other thing is it is really quite easy to do. There's nothing complicated about mindfulness. There's no complicated theory or practice. It's actually the easiest thing in the world. But for some reason, it's just, I suppose because it's not something that happens in this culture very much, people are not very still.
Yes.
So it does help if you do a course, because you can actually be taught how to do this very simple, natural thing.
Yes.
And in my case, I got the benefit from it very quickly, so I didn't have to wait a long time to benefit. Apparently, it's normally the case it takes 2 or 3 months. In my case, I would say 2 weeks, and I was already feeling substantially better, and it's just carried on.
And can I ask, what does your practice look like? So when you wake up in the morning, you know, what does the day look like for you?
Well, once I've kind of got up and had a cup of tea and that before work, I just basically, I do just a sitting practice where I follow breath. And I sometimes use the CD that comes with this workbook, because it's a silent CD, but it rings bells at 5-minute intervals, so like meditation bells. And it goes on, that's for half an hour, so you can choose how much time you've got available. So if you want to do the full half an hour, you can sit till the end of the thing. Okay. Otherwise you could get up after 15 minutes. So it's basically sitting upright, back straight, eyes closed, in a relaxed but sort of erect posture. Okay. And then the practice is really just to allow everything to be as it is, but to keep your attention focused on the breath. Yes. So your mind is going to wander, everybody's mind does that. So when it does that, you bring it back to the breath. Yes. So you're just simply sitting. It's beautiful. There's no more to it than that. Yeah, that's it. And it's amazing, because at the end of it, it's a great feeling. Yeah, I do feel it's subtle, but it's beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And you also work within the area of mental health as well. So tell us a little bit about your work. Well, I manage a project called Nature in Mind, and it's in the charity framework. And we use nature, getting out into nature and green spaces, as a way of supporting people in recovery from mental ill health. And we offer like a different kinds of events, from gardening to walking to art and crafts to drumming outside to healthy food, a whole range of things to do with nature. We've been doing this for 6 years, and it has a fantastic effect for people. So for people to see, I mean, it's another aspect of staying well, really, to get out into the green and into nature, move your body. You don't have to do very vigorous exercise to benefit from this. You can just be outside in a beautiful green space, connecting to the earth, observing the wildlife about you. Very beneficial to mental health. Absolutely. Yeah. And do you feel that now that you are, with the mindfulness practices that have benefited you so much personally, do you feel that there is a benefit to organisations bringing in these techniques to support their employees? I would definitely say so, because people are obviously quite stressed these days with the pressures that there are in social care, and people have got higher workloads and are working under more difficult circumstances, so even more reason really for people to have more skills and resources they can draw on. And of course meditation is, it's something you can learn to do and do it for yourself. It doesn't cost anything, apart from just if you go on the course that costs a bit of money, but you can actually teach yourself as well. So. And you were saying you actually accessed a lot of resources via YouTube and through social media as well? I don't particularly use social media, but for many years I've been following the teachings of Eckhart Tolle, who to me is a fantastic modern spiritual teacher in a kind of non-religious but spiritual tradition. And in a way what he teaches is mindfulness, really. He doesn't actually teach you how to do it, though. He sort of talks about the whole context of it and why it's important to be present. And he talks about consciousness a lot. So all his teachings are on YouTube, so it's all available to people. I find him very inspirational. Thank you very much. Well, you're very inspirational. Thank you very much for sharing your story, and we look forward to meeting you at some of the events that we're putting on as well, and good luck with your future journey. Thank you. Techniques. Thank you. Thank you.